World War II ended 70 years ago, and thanks to countless documentaries and books, we've seen what it was like through photographs and film. But there are several pictures taken during that time by a Talbot County man that few have seen before until now.
His name was Norman Harrington, and some may remember him from his days as editor of the Star-Democrat. But his journey into journalism started way before that as a photographer for the U.S. Army. And this weekend, thanks to his daughter, the rest of the world will see some rare photographs from that journey.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Lisa Harrington of Oxford is busy getting together an exhibit that will let the rest of the world see World War II through the eyes of her father, Norman Harrington.
His job was to photograph the war, and he did both still photography and film photography.
Before enlisting in the Army, Norman already had experience in photography.
He graduated from Easton High School at the age of 15. He was kind of on a fast track. And he opened his own studio in Easton at the age of 16 and did portraits, and he was a stringer for the Associated Press, so he cobbled together a lot of different things around photography and journalism. And this was them having fun.
Lisa says her father was assigned to the 162nd Signal Corps of the U.S. Army Pictorial Service.
He served several purposes. One was to help and keep the American public informed and the world informed, and the second was to support strategically sort of the commanding officers would review the photos and map out strategies and review the photos of battles and see, it's sort of like both a strategic and continuous improvement effort almost.
Harrington served in several locations, including North Africa and Paris. But his last combat assignment took him to Adolf Hitler's mountain retreat in Berchtesgaden, Germany.
He was brought in after it was bombed out and cleared. He was brought in to photograph Berchtesgaden and document it.
But Lisa says what her father found inside what's referred to as Eagle's Nest will give visitors to the exhibit a more personal look inside the dictator's world.
What's great about this exhibit that we're doing, when he was at Berchtesgaden at Eagle's Nest, he discovered file cabinets filled with undeveloped rolls of film from Adolf Hitler. And so he asked his superiors, could he set up a darkroom and develop some of this and see what it was? And they allowed him to do that, and they allowed him to keep about 50 of those images. So some of those key images are in this exhibit.
They include pictures of Hitler at state events and dinners, even what Lisa believes to be a selfie of the communist leader. In addition to Hitler's personal collection, there are several photographs taken inside the mountain retreat by Harrington.
Some of them you'll recognize. For example, his photos of Berchtesgaden. There's a sort of an iconic photo of a bunch of US GIs after they've stormed it, after they've taken it over. They're sitting around a stripped banquet table, and their feet are up on the table, and they look exhausted. So that photo, if you've seen Steven Spielberg's Band of Brothers series, I think it's the last episode, very similar images. So it's kind of, when I saw that series, I'm like, that's my father's work.
Harrington's collection also includes pictures of other famous icons of the war, like President Eisenhower, Hermann Goering, even Bob Hope. For Lisa, these photographs tell a story about a journey her father kept deep inside.
He wouldn't talk about it, very rarely. I knew that we had this cache of photos that were his personal collection from the war. So I knew we had a couple of boxes of photos, of prints, and some negatives. And I think perhaps I may have seen them twice while he was alive, and some of my siblings too. But he essentially, outside of one or two stories, he wouldn't talk about the war.
And although Norman Harrington's words were few when it came to the war, His pictures speak volumes, especially the ones that show the destruction and mass casualties of conflict.
They're a very personal take on the war. They're not like documentary images. These are his private images. So they're his, it's like seeing the war through his eyes. He talked about how the camera was his safety because he could distance himself from the war using the camera. So he was seeing horrific things, but the camera allowed him to be once removed, still be, incredibly involved, but have a safety valve, so to speak. So it was really kind of remarkable to read because the things that he photographed were, beyond measure horrific.
The photographs in the exhibit are just a fraction of Harrington's collection. Lisa says his life's work includes 40,000 negatives and about 20,000 prints, including photographs he took as editor of the Star-Democrat.
Basically, in addition to all this World War II stuff, I have a sort of pictorial history of the Eastern Shore of Maryland from 1946 to 1987 when he died. So that's a whole other collection that is worth looking at because it tracks how the Eastern Shore has changed and changed over all those decades.
For now, Lisa is concentrating on the task at hand, bringing her father's emotional journey to life again through pictures, his pictures.
The exhibit is called Up Close World War II Through the Lens of Norman Harrington and will be unveiled this weekend with a special reception and talk by Lisa Harrington Saturday, October 17th at 4 p.m. at the Oxford Community Center. The exhibit will be open to the public starting Monday, October 19th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. on weekdays, Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. and Sundays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And if you'd like more information on how to attend the opening reception, just go to our website, wboc.com, click on our picture at the top of the page.
That's amazing.
Amazing photographs.
Wow. Well, something else that might take a few of our viewers back in time, Hydrox cookies. And for those of you who know what I'm talking about, get ready for a cookie comeback. We're going to explain next.
Whoa, 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 Jimmy. First, we're going to have dinner, then dessert. A little later, we're in the Delmarva Life kitchen making rockfish pan chowder. Delmarva Life, we'll be right back.